Peace, y'all. So we're gonna do a divine feminine, divine masculine check-in. Also with an emphasis on healing the past karmic entanglement issues or areas of trauma that have healed, substantially, um, but that are undergoing some. What would be the correct way to put this? Just a moment. I'm trying to find a word for this vibe. Refinement of perception. All right, so refining how you're seeing those situations so you can in turn heal the deeper traumas that those experiences were stacked upon. Because, we have different things that happen in life, and if we have very, very deep traumas, there can be that stacking effect. And then the time that we take to heal from this or that, and there's still those deeper traumas, earlier childhood traumas, potentially even generational traumas, you know what I'm saying, where it may take more time to help your psyche shift into new areas of just like wholeness and belief in the good in those at those levels of pathways. Feminine lines, divine feminines may have come through lines where there were certain issues where it was just so many generations of women who went through the same types of traumas that it could take some time to really acclimate yourself to living differently and receiving differently, and reorienting your womb to what femininity is about, which is like joy of creation, sensual pleasure, being productive, relaxing when it's time to relax. Too many of us we're systematically conditioned against ourselves. Our mates were systematically conditioned against us. So it's not really, from what I have come to experience, an overnight process to heal that sort of thing. It can be one step at a time, and you can have some shifts in a different direction, and some leveling out and taking a look at things and making adjustments and changes, and maybe doing some deep psyche work where you got to really relax and unburden and experience the good for a while so you have that to work with. But it can take time, and every step we kind of take in a positive direction is that much more that we're doing for our generational lines, our ancestral patterns, that sort of thing. So what I'm going to do really quickly is shuffle from the Isis. Do a shuffle from the Isis Oracle. Pillar of Light, Descent of the Star of Isis. So we're going to read, I guess I'm being guided to read the preface. And the incantation. So, Pillar of Light, Descent of the Star of Isis. Beings of light and divinity are calling you now. They wish to connect with you more strongly, and you are being guided to strengthen your energy field, to allow more of the divine light that seeks you to flow through your body safely and into expression. The incantation. You can say this incantation at the beginning of your day for protection and growth, and it's good practice to say it after a difficult meeting or exchange with another where you feel some negativity may have passed between you, and you wish to be cleansed and centered in your own clear light once more. Pillar of light, burning bright, earth star below, soul star above. Burn away all that is not light. Transform all into unconditional love. Star of Isis, descend your blessing and peace without end. Grace me now with peace and protection, completely embraced by divine perfection. What I pick up from this card is a lot of y'all have been extremely hard for yourself. There may be a lot of perfectionists amongst y'all, and we will get to the pick a card in a moment, but I want to do kind of a generalized overview reading. That's just kind of the format that has come to be with the pick a cards, and, you know, I've been going with the flow because it just really, you know, feels like the right thing to do at this time. But what's happening right now is there are upgrades. There are... feels like star system upgrades where masses of people are undergoing this, but kind of according to their star system dictates or missions, or where they are at certain degrees or levels of development. So there is like, there's a need to go within and be in touch with the light that you generate, especially if you've been like #empath life, giving your light out to just about everybody who fell and scraped their knee. You know what I'm saying? Where it's time to address your needs and the areas within your energy body that need to be healed, that require light to be healed, where your energy needs to flow through your system. And it's definitely time for that. These are very, very high vibrating energies. They feel very angelic in nature. And it's time to realize that while you have a lot of answers, if you've been going about this in a perfectionistic, tightly angled way, where you are just so consumed with the idea of being in balance and you feel constricted and like you can't move, then it's time to relax. Because after performing, after doing a lot of work and undergoing various trials and overcoming challenges and what have you, there may be this anticipation to see, what's the end result? What's the end result of all this work? And kind of this mental body racing ahead. What's it going to look like? What's it going to feel like? What's it, how are other people going to see it? That type of response. And I feel like there's like a star body element to this. It's higher and it's more fragile than the sense of need that has driven you, the sense of need that's driven you to tears, the sense of need that's driven you to get back up, dust yourself off, and try again. Props to the queen, Aliyah. It has alignment is what I'm picking up with the divine plan. And, the divine plan is wise. You know what I'm saying? We're talking about a wise, how would I put this? Oversight of energy distribution. Distribution of what people actually need according to divine measure and balance, from higher order, wise ones and the angelics. And there are times, especially if we get too consumed with control, and it doesn't have to be control over others. I think for a lot of empaths, it's not so much control over others, although we can have the tendency to feel that desire to control how people perceive us, because we go out of our way. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes when we're in a disempowered empath position, to be palatable and pleasing. But it's, I hope I didn't get off track with where I was with that. It's the perfectionism. And maybe just taking a moment to realize that there are other, divine co-creators, if you want to look at this as us co-creating with the Most High, right? Co-creating our lives and having positive effects on the lives of others. there are others who have great ideas and can probably help you overcome challenges you found yourself in, if only you will allow them to intercede on your behalf with the best of intentions and within heart alignment, within heart and crown alignment, even with divine star crown alignment. And I'm getting correct from Great Mother Aset. You know what I'm saying? It's telling me correct. You know what I'm saying? So if you've been having this battle with yourself, like, I know I finished a project today, and my mind normally, it did try, by the way, but my mind normally be like, okay, moving on to the next thing, because on some real to real, I will work I will work so hard body. Like, in the past, I would break night. I would, you know what I'm saying, lose weight. Like, it was such an obsessive workaholic problem. And would fight, like, on some, you want to see me fight? Come in between me and my work, or attempt to. And it was one of those types of things, because that was my solace after a lot of emotional deprivation and situations of emotional neglect, torment, and abuse. Not to be dramatic, just facts. I was like, cool, I can do bad by myself, but I want to do good. So what I'm going to do is shape myself. I'm going to make myself. Props to the group Incubus. I love that song. I decided to work on the Know Thyself journey and self-perfection. And I just kept adding to my skill set, adding to my skill set, adding to my skill set, adding to my skill set. And really working hard. And then I would reach a certain point where there should have been rewards or payout, and then I would get cheated, or something would come through, and it would be like a lot of times I was cheated out of my moment of, I don't know, glory or reward or whatever, after so much hard work. I'm down to people trying to mimic me, or trying to take something that I put a lot of investment into and kind of pawn it off as their own, like they'd never heard of me. So, and people would do this. This has happened where people have attempted to do it right in front of my face, but then I would check them on it, like, I just made that suggestion. Like when I tried being a part of groups, but then found that I was just a workhorse again and carrying the burden. And a lot of the people who rose to the forefront were, figureheads, and the ones who would ride off with the glory. So until I got tired of that, I was in those situations. And I felt the need to bring that up, because I could have kept going on this, work until you break, potentially, type of track. But in communing with spirit and in embracing divine direction, I have literally been told, like, you better sit down. No, it's time to rest. No, literally, go to bed. And it would be so hard for me to do that. And it shouldn't be hard to go to sleep when you're tired. But if you've been pushing yourself, and this doesn't just have to be, this is my experience, your experience could be something else. Your experience could be wherever it is you're pushing yourself because you found a coping mechanism and you're just going to ride it until the wheels fall off. But there's also receptivity for you. And perhaps the reason I kept getting cheated is because I was not properly stopping to rest, heal my emotional realm, pains and whatevers. And wasn't taking the proper time to really and truly clear it out. I was just so worried of being of service. So all of that to say, this reading is going to be looking at filling ourselves, allowing ourselves to be filled. It's not even, it's not even like, doesn't have to be so much yang energy. Really making peace, because that mother consciousness and, the sacred mothers, honoring the sacred mothers, honoring mother consciousness, doing our best to forgive the mothers of our line on both sides. The ones we may not even know of, who went unsung, who went through pains we probably can't even, imagine. where we can kind of free up the water of some of that pressure and poison that was intentionally, I feel, put into it. And I'm getting confirmation, Spirit said confirms. Asad's telling me, Asad is telling me I can tell y'all it's her. It's her. She said confirmed. So, the only way to do that, I think, at this time, or one of the most optimum ways, I don't want to be like a generalizing person when I say things. One of the most optimal ways right now is to get out of our own way, because I feel like higher order angelic, higher order wise ones, higher order elders, higher order ancestors who have the viewpoint and vantage point of knowing what is best to do with divine measure in any given situation to help a person get where it is they're trying to go and get out of their own way so that they can actually receive some of what is truly coming to them, and I'm speaking of those who really have been cheated out of what's for them. Because I feel like until you, me, anyone else this commentary resembles, until we allow ourselves to receive some of the good that we have worked so hard for to earn, and this includes our ancestors for generations, I would just say consider well then, who's going to be receiving it? Who's going to be receiving these rewards? People who didn't work for it? People who it just came easy to and they don't appreciate it. It's just a given. It's taken for granted. There's a balance to things. And I think sometimes it's been this idea of oh, well, we have to march on this, or we have to do this, or, well, us women need to get together and tell them, whatever group we're talking about at any given time. And it's I think the internal work, might be the way to go. Because the other stuff certainly has not made much change. It'll raise awareness for a little while, and then, things, have had a tendency to go right back to where they were, maybe with a little bit of improvement and a little bit of pacifying for people who would like us to shut up now. So they can go on about doing the same thing they've been doing, right? You know what I'm saying? Whether it's people who feel like they're superior because of their gender, because of their race, because of their economic bracket, you fill in the blank. This applies across the board. But if we're going in and we're doing the internal work, and we're not asking anyone to make any changes, we are allowing those changes to come to us, well, then now we can just place our trust in the ancestors, and it can come because we've moved out of our own way. We are willing to kind of not sit in the victim role anymore in any way, shape, or form. Your situation could be that you have workers in your family and it's always kind of turned out bad, and you've had the worst bosses, and, well, maybe you're tired of wearing that uniform, that victim uniform, and you're about to make a career change, or you're launching a business where that ain't about to be the case no more. And you're allowing the ancestors to come in and intercede and do what needs to be done to clear out those energy patterns so you can make that new pathway that other people can walk on from your line, and other people who come in contact with you who might have a similar resonance and problem that they'd like to solve. So when we talk about clearing out pathways and making, basically establishing better conditions on those pathways, some of that work, it's not just about building. Some of that work is allowing the clearing to happen while you maintain a resonance of trust. Whether it takes a year, 2 years, 3 to 5 years, 2 months, however long it takes, you trust that your spiritual family, that your divine family knows how to do this. And this means, in the meantime, relax. Take up an area of study. Go spend time with some furry angels. If you love animals, go spend time with some animals. Go in nature. Practice relaxing. Take up yoga, the relaxing kind. Unless sweating a lot and doing that active, hot yoga? I don't know. That's what it's called. I think it might be. If that's your thing, then maybe that is what you need to do to get in that place. But the point is, if you can simply take your attention off of what you've been obsessing over as an escapism tool or an I'm strong tool, where you can just be vulnerable and let the universe bless you. You know, and you know that your rewards are coming. You're like, all right, so in the meantime, what's something new I can do? You know, that's just like, I'm in a good vibe, so I'm still giving off good vibes in the environment, but I'm allowing my whole everything about me to rest. My subtle body, my mental body, like I'm really just enjoying this state of relaxation and peace. All right, so we're 20 minutes in, but, you know, I hope that generalized area of reading was helpful. This is probably going to leave us about 15 minutes for Group 1 and Group 2 for the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine readings. At this moment, take a look at the description box, flex your intuitive muscles, and see which group you're in alignment with. And I will pause for a moment, and then we will move on to Group 1. If you feel like you're in alignment with Group 2, then go on ahead and scroll to Group 2. Scroll to the timestamp. And enjoy what comes through. All right, so if you need more time, please pause the video and flex your intuitive muscles and decide what you are sensing resonates with you most. And we are going to now be moving on to Group 1. What up, Group 1? I'm going to pull an additional Isis Oracle card. Ooh, for y'all. Power over 7 scorpions. Power to conjure lower vibrational forces. I won't be reading from the book. I'm just going to read the card. What I'm picking up from this card for y'all. You've had to deal with a lot of toxicity. I feel with Divine Feminine, there's just been a lot of like haunting, spiritual attacks, psychic attack from from some very unhealthy people. At this time, you can surround yourself with angelic light. You can say, I am surrounded by the love and protection of angelic light. When you go to sleep, whenever you feel a funny vibe around you. And I said saying it will absolutely protect you. So whenever you feel like you require more of it, you just say, I am surrounded by the love and protection of angelic light. You know, and you can phrase it in a way, correct? You can phrase it in a way that feels good to you. Part of what has happened here in situations between the Divine Feminine and Divine Masculine, where there have been like extremely unnecessary and unhealthy attacks, is you've come here to bring, it's like pearls of wisdom. It really feels like pearl energy, but like from another world. So y'all probably are star seeds. Most of you are, or it would be looked at that way. It could be said all of you, but not all of you would necessarily look at it that way. Correct. You weathered a lot of various abuses and torment, and it almost was to where you were going to be like close to being on your last leg, and so some very unhealthy forces thought they'd come out and show their behinds. And that was, in a way, to the benefit of the world, because they showed their behinds and showed all their cards. And from what I'm getting, this gave the higher angelic what they required to safeguard the world from something that was in the making of happening that now no longer has to happen. So y'all I'm going to go ahead and pull the rest of the cards. I'm going to shuffle. And now Miracle Isis on the deck, Miraculous Healing of the Goddess. And now Isis is tending to y'all. Isis is tending to y'all because you had this energy that was of such a high vibrational, high frequency light that it was kind of helping people to do shadow work on themselves. Like if they weren't in heart alignment, and they had like devious kind of really maladaptive ways and poor poor intent towards others, it would come out on y'all. And it was almost like you're the types of spirits that felt like, well, better me than, another innocent who can't handle it. So you're very strong. And so with this healing, Enchanted starts coming up, the 33rd card, and there's that cacti in the background of the sistren, and mushroom, this velvety looking mushroom in the forefront of her, and her heart looks like it's glowing, right? It's like that area, it's kind of reaching up to the throat. And this means you've cleared a lot of pathways. And it's going to be made more abundant to you just how significant that is, because now, like, this has helped people's thought processes, your energies, you and your divine partner. It's helped people's thought processes because you have the kinds of minds and hearts, is what I'm being given, that it's like are very non-judgmental in a way. And you may think you're very judgmental, but it's like you do have discernment of what's healthy and what's unhealthy. But in the love sense, you have this level of love that if it came down to it, it's very difficult for you to hate others genuinely. You may feel their hate as it's projected onto you, and when you were younger, you might have misinterpreted it as your own, especially if you're like highly sensitive empaths. But now it's time for you to... There's like this awarding type of scenario attempting to take place between you and your mate. And so I'm going to do a heart, spirit, soul spread as directed. And on the top of this deck is Sirius, Blooming Throne, Dreaming Stars. Some of y'all just have not sit still long enough to be blessed. And this blessing has a lot to do with like helping you regenerate. There's been some, I want to use the word carefully, but there's been like, it's taken a lot out of you. We'll put it that way, what you've been through. And so there's this helping you to regenerate, which is a very green thing, and green has to do with the heart chakra. So there's that Enchanted Start card and the Miracle of Isis, Miraculous Healing of the Goddess. Everything that you need, like, it's like on a higher self level, and also divine guidance will let you know. So if you can accept that, like, your throne, it's at that blooming phase, like you're seeing, I guess, like the midpoint of it, and the Dreaming Stars portion is watch your thoughts. Be careful to assume the worst, or that things are going to go in a negative direction if you feel like they're not moving fast enough for you. You have a comedic card that came up from the Sublime Vibes deck. Save the best for last. It's a 23rd card. You know what I'm saying? And very beautiful purple, violet, fuchsia, green colors, and like orbs, and I feel like is representing stars and constellations and what have you. There are many worlds, is what I'm getting from this card. There are many worlds. And the work that you and your mate do, and this is big time for the masculine to hear, or the divine masculine within you, divine feminines. What you have chosen to do for this world, you went overboard. And all of the energies, the positive energies you generated, can't kind of be applied to the world all at one time. This will unfold or become available over generations. So if you're waiting to see this end result right away, you may be waiting for a long time, and get some water and get some things to do while you're waiting is what I'm being given. Because now you can commune with your home frequency. You can commune with home. You can commune with fellow light beings. You know what I'm saying? Where you can remember, who you are and what you're about better, and come out of the damaging memories of the past, the damaging situations of the past, and quite simply realize what's good. Because it's like the divine masculine energy is like, okay, what else can we build? All right, what other energies can we bring through for the planet? And it's a time for Earth to catch up with the frequencies. And that includes the people on Earth's surface. You know what I'm saying? Divine feminines. Before I go there, it's coming through divinely for the divine masculines. You can explore what you've built in dream time. You know, it's certainly there. And depending on how you resonate and what frequency you're at, that's what you'll get of it at any given time. You know, so there's more to this, and you did much more than required. It's going to help a lot of people, but it also has to be divinely measured. So it still has to be released in accordance with what is within a reasonable balance for, everyone concerned. Moving on to divine feminines, flowing sacral connection, 2D card, sacred garden card, 24th card in the deck, and water lily is the flower ally to meditate with, right? Divine feminines, you've been dealing with like sad feelings, some of the abandonment feelings, some of the feelings of feeling like you might never be loved properly, feeling alone, feeling forgotten. And what's coming through Great Mother Aset is get out of your own way. We sent numerous people to you to show you have a divine family. If you close the doors on all of them, you can fool yourself into thinking no one loves you. But this is what some would call delusion. It's not to say that you were deluded, but you have an ample supply of love available to you when you are ready to accept that it is possible. It's a deep statement. Some of the suggestions that are coming through, divine feminines: relax enough to let the good come to you so you can entertain the possibility, so you can ease into it. Positive affirmations are going to help you if that resonates with how you want to do your heart work. But there's kind of a little bit of, I don't want to say urging, but that word kept coming up. There is a message that there won't be urgency behind, is what Asa is saying. That is, if you're going to keep looking back at the pains and the torments, we will let you. We will let you create more pain for yourself, if that is your wish. And that concludes what she has to say on the matter. So I think, thank you, Great Mother, I said. She said that goes for you as well. Right. I think between the divine feminine and the divine masculine here, there was maybe too much, I just have to prove this, or, I just need to be by myself. Kind of that type of thing that just caused a distancing from the other. When, in all reality, it seems like what's really going on there is like, I'm not good enough. This idea that I'm not good enough for this person. Because what you're really seeking you know, and Great Mother says yes, is each other. And you're the only ones holding yourself back at this point. So divine reflection is protection, is your synthesis card. And what I'm picking up here is daydreaming by yourself is cool. Daydreaming what might happen, or you got this goal and what could happen is great. But there's your divine counterpart also dreaming and wanting to dream with you. And there is no pressure on this. As you come up in readiness with this, it will become easier and easier to dream together, to learn to give each other the time one or the other of you needs to speak, without constantly kind of having like a jumpy reaction because of the haunts of the past that were trying to come in between you. Getting used to the fact that there's peace there between you. There's true love, between you. And it's time to explore that at your own pace without worrying about doing it perfectly. The problem has been you guys have been worrying about doing it perfectly or showing up perfectly. Great Mother is saying you're already perfect. Maybe explore imperfect. Wow. And I'm being told that concludes the reading, y'all. That's all. That's like enough said. I hope this is helpful, y'all. Take that time to relax. Explore imperfect. I'm going to move on to group 2, but I want to thank you for tuning in. Feel free to shine a light beam in the comments if you're inclined. Feel free to talk to each other in the comments. You know what I mean? I'm not always there on top of the comments. There's been a lot going on, and y'all have gone through it. If you can only imagine, so have I. But you are appreciated, and the time you take to show, this channel, or, the services I provide, like, support or give thanks means a lot. And I appreciate you. So, more spiritual tools are coming. I'm getting used to this promotion thing. Very, very soon. Within the next couple of weeks, there should be word on that from the time of this recording, but of course this is a timeless or evergreen / timeless reading, however, insert synonym there, however you want to look at it. But there's some very fun and expansive spiritual tools on the way. I thank you so much for tuning in. Peace and blessings on your expansion journey, and your flow journey, and your true love journey, and your peace journey. Peace. What up, group 2? Let me jot down the timestamp. All right. I'm going to go ahead and do a shuffle for you. Ooh, all right. Middle card. And an additional card. Oh, wow. Okay. Oh, you guys are getting an additional. Okay, so you guys have like a double up type of situation, card wise. Being told to shuffle one more time. Oh, it came up. Okay. All right. Dreaming bliss is at the top of the deck, but I'm also going to really quickly shuffle an Isis Oracle card for you. Oh, past life, present power, the many spiritual faces of you. I'm not going to be reading the passage, just going to read the energies. So what I'm picking up for y'all, there have been a lot of past life haunts and things that you have gotten stuck in. This is a card that's typically, it's almost, well, I don't want to say typically, but it's like a life review type of situation. And in some ways, it's going and looking for the water where it no longer is. There's just sand left. You know what I'm saying? Whatever crystalline grains are there, because, like in sand, from what I'd learned a while back, a couple of years ago, maybe, or 3 or 4 years, something like that, that there's actually gemstones in the sand, like just teensy tiny ones. There's like an hourglass in this card, you know what I'm saying? And you have, they look like cobras. I'm not sure that they're cobras. Do you have the Kemetic snakes on either side, facing in opposite-ish directions on the posts that hold up the hourglass. And then what kind of looks like a sun motif on the bottom and on the top of the hourglass. Like there's like this metal, I don't know, placeholder, type of situation, or metal looking. And I feel like there's this, it reminds me, or it brings to mind, and I'm being given a confirmation, okay? It brings to mind that you guys are looking in opposite directions of each other. And that time is, steady going on. And there's like a pyramid-shaped sand situation on the bottom part of the hourglass, right? But it's pyramid shaped, but it also looks like it's like potentially in the form of a hole. It just all kind of depends on how you're looking at the picture. It could mean that there's a secret cavern beneath the sand pyramid, and that's what's being hinted at. It just all depends on how you interface with it. But I think it's where you guys go to, both of y'all, where you guys go to process the pains of the past and the things you can't seem to easily let go of. The non-victories, the situations where you feel like something took too much out of you and you haven't gotten that energy back. I do feel like there's it's to your advantage to consider that if something's pulling at your energy really, really hard, like to the point where it's messing with your solar plexus, you have pain there or whatever. If you let go, if you go into a state, even if you say, I let go of this pain, I let go of this trauma, you know what I'm saying? If you just you just keep doing it, just keep chanting that every time it happens, go into that mind state of letting go until the energy is away from you. One of the things that tends to happen is if you let go, what's trying to pull on you and maintain an energetic cord situation for vampiric reasons or domination reasons that are uninvited, because some people, have their tantric explorations of domination that are different because they're invited, there's permissions, there's a way out to say, okay, that's enough. You know what I'm saying? But in this situation, it would be the unpermitted attempts at domination, the unpermitted attempts at intrusion. If you let go of the matter, there has to be a mirror reflection where they let go of the matter. And then at that time, you can take a look to see what does your energy look like now without all of that extra negative, toxic energy on it. How do you heal it? How do you water it? You know what I'm saying? How do you, pull it towards you in an embrace and love it back into health? That piece of you that once got tangled up with something very unhealthy, someone very unhealthy for you that was just using your energy. Maybe they had mental health issues that really put them in an abuser mind state because of abuse that they once suffered or because it was generationally in their line. whatever it is. When you're able to let go, there's nothing else. It's like if you're playing tug of war and you're trying to pull your energy back from someone. And so they try to pull your energy back out of you. And you try to pull your energy back again. And they try to pull it back out of you. If you just let go of the rope, maybe mentally you're thinking, oh my gosh, they're just going to pull me out of me. But nah, that's not how it works. You have a whole divine family that will make sure you are straight, that you're just fine. You might have some crying to do. You might be so mad and have to find a way to deal with your fire energy. You might have to go commune with Mother Earth, do some yoga, maybe some hot yoga, whatever it is. But now you'll be able to deal with those issues inside of you. You know what I'm saying? That were resonant to that abusive or tormentful or belittling or, insert undesirable situation there. Insert damaging situation there. Now you can deal with your inner space. And you can work on your resonance and your frequency and vibration and what you will accept and what you won't accept. And strengthen your boundaries that way. Because what ends up happening is the other person holding on to that rope who no longer has something to pull against, they're going to go flying in the other direction. And I don't know if it's cute flying. I don't know if it'll be cute. And I'm not even concerned, to be quite honest, because I've had my fill of certain personality types and how they do other people because they think they can get away with it. And that's just where I'm at right now. But whatever they have to deal with after is what they have to deal with after. If you could find some way to peacefully release, I peacefully release this situation. And then if you want to do depth work later and talk to your spirit guides about it, and why would such a thing happen or what have you, when you're ready, then you can. But one of the bigger steps is just taking your hands off the wheel. Taking your hands off of needing to control that situation so it can go away. For divine masculines, you have your heart is your compass, you know what to do, and power spark. It's time to move forward in ways that are empowering to your heart. You don't have to cry or feel bad or feel left out or abandoned anymore. You know what to do. The subtext of your heart is your compass. In some situations, you're just meant to walk away from. You may be waiting for approval or for someone to apologize to you or to do right by you because they really did you wrong. But you know what? Your power spark, for you to feel that vitality and flow in your body and that motivation, that's going to start when you walk in the direction where the light is actually trying to shine on you. That's what I'm picking up for you. And it's been difficult, but continuing to look backwards towards what was trying to take your shine away from you, how's that been working out? This is, I feel like, where you can have self-forgiveness of the fact that you operated from where you knew how to operate at that time. There were some generational patterns running. You weren't totally operating of your own accord. You may have been repeating cycles that people before you created with their actions. But now you have the opportunity to go with your truer motivations, your own personal power, and explore what you really would like to explore. What feels good to your heart. And maybe some of you don't feel like crying. Maybe some of you just feel like some anger, lodged in your chest. Water work is going to help you with that. I feel like working with moonstone will help you with that mother energy. You can even put the moonstone on your chest for a little while if you start to feel fiery there in that way that isn't really healthy. And it'll help you to get in touch with the divine mother, the sacred mother consciousness I'm being given, sacred mother consciousness, where it's going to be okay and you can get up and you can move forward and you can still be in that beautiful emotional innocence that you have but now wizened enough to say to yourself, if something doesn't feel right, yeah, nah, I'm not even going near that. And I think that's the bulk of that lesson for you, divine masculines, of what you're walking away from, what that was teaching you. Divine feminines, I accept true love, and a card from Lyran card, right? From Lyra consciousness, seeing forever. Divine feminines, y'all are so in love, and you're afraid, a lot of you, to admit it. I feel like the Quantum Root Oracle card that came up, I accept true love, soul family is a subtext, is the way to go. Work with it as an affirmation every single day, until you start to see your mind giving you different thoughts and different visions, you know, or maybe not your mind, but your mind's allowing different thoughts and different visions to come through, where you're like, it is possible for me to be loved. Wow, you know what? I am kind of cute. Because I feel like with you, there's self-talk, and you may love to be flattered, and you may love to hear different things. And so there's probably been, you know, different men who kicked the right G because they could tell you were susceptible to flattery, but then they didn't show, improve, or follow through properly, if they tried to do that at all. It's going to take you some time, probably from the time of this reading, 6 to 7 months, before you realize what your divine masculine actually sees in you. You know, he sees a mate that is on his level mentally and on a heart level, and he would like to explore that. And you've been pushing him away just out of sheer disbelief that it was possible for someone to feel that way for you. So the remedy, the synthesis remedy here for the synthesis cards, forgive the past. Storyteller comes up, 27th card in the deck. And in vacation, card 31. Take some time to meditate. Really, if you haven't been meditating, get on it. And do a kind of where you, I release, as negative thoughts come up, I release this negative thought. I invite in true love. I invite in peace. I invite in bliss. I release that negative thought. I invite in true love. And just get into the habit of that. That's going to help you allow yourself to know you'll be forgiven, and you can move towards your divine masculine. You can try again. And the results will probably be good results. And dreaming bliss, dreaming together. When you get to that point where you're in contact with him again, or if you already are, you draw closer, start talking about future goals and visions so you guys can bring into manifestation what you intended incarnating. Thank you so much for tuning in, y'all. Peace.